Look at all these slave masters posing on your dollar. Get it?
Look at all these slave masters.
Welcome back to episode 7 of How Do You Like Your Coffee with Connor and Kai. I am Connor. This is
Kai. Just kidding. We switched it up on it.
Switch it up. It's opposite day. Actually, you know what today is?
What is today?
I don't know, but yesterday was National Environment World Day.
Really?
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting.
What are you going to do to save the environment today?
Oh, we're going to talk a little bit about the environment, my friend.
I'm sure we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we dabble.
Also, we're on episode 7. I'm starting to lose count here.
Yeah, I can't remember what day it is either.
Well, it's the day after World Environmental Day.
Yeah, exactly. Nonetheless, though, very exciting stuff. Episode 7, excited for it.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and start our segment for you guys. We have Putting a Pin in It, as always, because Putting a Pin in It is a very important segment of our podcast that we do here.
That's how we get the conversation started.
Yeah, and just in case you're just tuning in, episode 7. So we had 6 more episodes previously besides this one.
Yep.
And our format for this podcast is we do a little bit of a segment where we put a pin in it on a drink that we haven't yet tried, and we give a little bit of review.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do album reviews for new upcoming albums of 2020. And then recently, as of episode 6, we just started doing interviews with upcoming artists that are upcoming.
Making their waves in the music industry.
Or making their way downtown.
Walking fast. Episode 6, we interviewed Brian Loy from the band The Hawkshaws. That was a really fun interview. It went really
Good
well.
time. And today we have an interview with upcoming artist by the name of CLE'PH, CLE'PH. I'm really excited for it. He's a R&B based artist.
Yep.
That's what he focuses in, and that's kind of how he sounds and how his sound is based. And we're really excited for that interview.
Another East Coast interview as well.
Yeah, East Coast, New York. He's from New York. It'll be a really good time. Really excited for it. And then after that, we go into a little bit of world news and talk about different topics going on around the world and kind of shed some light on our views on those topics.
We got a lot to talk about, Kyler.
Yes, sir, we do.
All right, so let's get started with Put a Pin in It.
Putting a pin in it. So today we have, we didn't do anything too crazy, but there is a company out of Santa Cruz, California called CLE'PH Coffee, and they have these single-serve pouches.
Yep.
And we're going to go ahead and try them out. So the instructions for this is boil some hot water, dip the pouch for 15 minutes or longer based on how strong you want it. And these have been sitting in there for quite a few minutes now. So
I'm going to feel jittery throughout this episode.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
So I personally am going to be drinking the Sunrise Blend, which is a light roast by CLE'PH Coffee. And Connor, what do you have?
I have their Odyssey Blend, which is their dark roast.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. So
shout out
see,
CLE'PH Coffee.
Yeah, see what we got going on here. Take a cheers.
Oh, cheers, yeah. That was almost rude.
Mine's definitely blonde.
Yeah. Well, you know how you like them. Blonde.
Yeah, well, okay. We can argue that. How is your coffee going over there?
It's
Wait. Connor,
Yes.
how do you like your coffee?
Ooh, there we go. I do like it. I like it. How long have these been steeping?
Probably like 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Okay, that's probably why. Because it doesn't taste too strong yet. I think for this, I'd probably let it sit a little bit longer before
Maybe do some less water. I just kind of filled the cup to the top and dipped it, but
Yeah, no, I think that's how that's supposed to work. I think I should just let it steep a little bit longer. Maybe steep it while it's boiling. If you're just drinking one blend, we did 2, so we use the same pot of water.
Definitely.
But no, I do like it. I like it. I would definitely buy more. These are perfect for like camping. They come in individual pouches. You can just easily pack them away and just boil some water over the fire and easy money. There's some coffee for you.
Nice. Awesome.
What about you? How do you like your coffee?
It's good. It's blonde. I personally like blonde coffee because let me tell you a fun fact about me. Before, I used to think dark roast had the most caffeine. So going through college, I would sit there and I would chug these dark roast coffees and I'd be like, man, my life just really sucks that bad to where coffee doesn't do it for me anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and I later found out that blonde roast was actually the coffee that had more caffeine in it.
That's
and so that was a life-changing moment of my life.
Yeah, you learn a lot of stuff in college, right? How did
Yep.
you take your coffee? Did you put cream in those dark roasts? Or you just drink it black like a man?
No, I drink it straight. No cream. Cream kind of does something to me. It kind of makes me feel a certain way.
Sounds like you're lactose intolerant.
I'm not, but I feel that way when I drink a little bit of cream. So personally, I don't really drink cream in my coffee unless I get a Starbucks white chocolate mocha because I have a couple extra shots and it has a nice taste to it and it's soothing. I
Goes
like that.
down easy.
Yeah, it goes down easy. Absolutely. So to get to our album reviews, the album reviews that we have for you guys today are what bands that we got today, Connor?
So we are technically only doing one full album today. The other two are singles, but the album that we're reviewing is just recently put out by Run the Jewels.
Okay.
They're a rap duo. I really like Run the Jewels because they have that old school hip hop and rap sound, and it's very conscious rap. It's
So
conscious.
the first song that I heard by Run the Jewels was Out of Sight. And to give you guys an idea of their sound, the first person I thought of was Eazy-E.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
that was the very first person. I want to say Run DMC. That's the band, right? But I haven't heard enough of their stuff to say that it sounds like them yet. But yeah, like these old school rap groups that just started out. Eazy-E was the first person who came to mind. Kind of gives you like a techno type of, not techno, but like an upbeat. I don't know how to explain it. Eazy-E is how I would explain it.
Yeah. Eazy-E was an NWA.
NWA, correct.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Yes,
like
not-
Eazy-E and Run
And
DMC,
Run DMC,
and
yeah.
all the other bands that kind of sound similar to that just were a little bit more old school.
Yep. Conscious rap, man. It's
yeah.
it's the best
like-
kind,
yeah, it's-
especially for what's going on right now.
Yeah, it's a lot different than Drake or Future or all those other artists that we have now that everybody's all hyped up about.
Trap rappers,
yeah.
as one might call. Drake's not trap rapper, but Future, Young Thug, Gunna, all those types of guys
Yeah.
would really call it conscious rap.
But what I like about this style is that you can really hear all the lyrics and you can really kind of, like feel it. Whereas when I listen to Drake, I don't know, Drake just kind of it all meshes together and sounds
the same.
Yep. And
Yeah,
Yes.
you're right. These are lyrics that you can hear. One, because they're, speaking easy enough to where you can listen to actually what they're saying, compared to like Young Thug, where it's kind of hard to understand what he's saying.
Yep.
Compared to mumble rap would be the genre that Young Thug would be in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this album was great. It's called RTJ4. It's their fourth studio album,
Okay.
and it's just RTJ is the what's the word I'm looking for? Initials of Run the Jewels. Excuse me. I couldn't think of that
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, but it was really awesome, I thought. One of the other songs on there is called Goonies, which definitely gives me a techno vibe. I can see it in like a disco type of rave setting. But what's kind of funny is they have another song on there called Holy Call 'Em a Fuck, which
Holy
is
Call 'Em a Fuck.
yeah.
Hmm.
And that made me think of Childish Gambino's song This Is America, because it kind of gives you like I don't know, if you've heard This Is America, it kind of gives you like an upbeat, like jittery type of music that has a bigger message behind it.
Yep, absolutely.
And what's funny about This Is America by Childish Gambino is it's one of those songs I feel like doesn't make sense unless you see the music video.
Okay.
Because the lyrics itself, I feel like they stand, and Childish Gambino's a little bit different. He's a little bit off.
Yes.
But This Is America, it takes a lot of kind of like acting out to understand his points. And the music video is awesome. If
It's
you guys haven't
amazing.
checked it out, I
Yeah.
love This Is America by Childish Gambino. But that's kind of what some of these songs on there gave me the vibe of. But they stand alone. You can kind of tell the message based on what they're portraying in the song. You don't need a music video to understand it.
Very true.
But yeah, it was cool.
And this album really fits with what's going on right now in our country and around the world. With the Black Lives Matter movement. We tried to focus on conscious rap for this week's episode.
Yeah, definitely. That had a bigger message than just music.
And going into our next review called Pig Feet, which is a single by Terrance Martin and Denzel Curry. And that also is it's fun. It's a little bit more violent, I guess you could say, the song compared to the Run the Jewels album.
Yeah.
But all in all, good song, had a great message, and that spoke to what's going on right now. And I think I can't say that they put out this single because of what's going on, but it came out just like the other day. So
Yeah.
I think that's
It's cool.
probably what they were aiming towards.
Yeah.
And then our next single by Brockhampton, and then JPEG Mafia, I believe is how you pronounce his name. But he goes by Peggy, so we'll just refer to him as Peggy. So Brockhampton and Peggy put out a new single called Chain On / Hold Me, which definitely focuses on police brutality.
Yeah,
and
definitely 100%. That's the whole message of the song, I felt like. And same thing, you can listen to the music and understand the message. You don't need any like secondary nature of it to figure it out. I mean, it speaks for itself. Really powerful message, really powerful song. I liked it a lot. It really flowed, and same thing, kind of gives you, I would say, like the new school vibes with the Eazy-E message.
Absolutely, that is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
That is a great way to put it. It has the music is new age, and the lyrics and message is what rappers were rapping about when hip hop really became a big thing, like with Eazy-E, NWA, and Run DMC.
Yeah, and a lot of those songs were focused on police brutality and racial discrimination. And I mean, we can go back to episode 6. We talk about the Rodney King happened in 1991, and Oscar Grant case happened in 2009, and then now we have 2020 where all this stuff is still occurring, and it just shows you that the message never changes, and that the idea of what these artists want you to understand about the world never changes. But it's just the only difference is kind of the format and like the vibe and the sound a little bit. But the message is there.
The message hasn't changed because the country hasn't changed, which is unfortunate. So we'll keep hearing music like this until there's finally reform. And
I hope we do, honestly, because I'm a big fan of Eazy-E and NWA. I feel like their music is really solid and is impactful. And same thing with these artists is they're giving the same message, and it really hits home. I like it a lot.
Speaking of NWA, Ice Cube was supposed to perform at Cali Roots this year.
Oh, really?
Original member of
you
NWA.
guys had a couple big headliners, though.
Oh, we did, yeah. We try to mix in hip hop with reggae. We believe that they, for the most part, send the same message.
Intertwine a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And so Ice Cube was our big hip hop headliner for this year's festival.
Did I see Snoop Dogg was supposed to play there too? Is that wrong?
There was a rumor about that. There was a rumor that Snoop Dogg was going to play, and I'll be straight up. We tried to get him. We tried.
That'd have been sick.
That would have been sick. I think Ice Cube's a better choice, though.
Yeah.
Personally, but anyways, going off of that and going off of Brockhampton's new music, they actually are working on a new album because some of the members, it's a rap group. Some of the members are quarantined together, and they have been staying busy during quarantine. And they do a live stream broadcast every week. It's password protected, though.
Okay.
So not everyone can just hop on in. I don't know how to get the password. I guess I am not one of the fans that.
If you have it, tell us. We'd love to listen to it.
I would love to watch. Yeah, because during these broadcasts, they're putting out a new song every week with it.
Okay.
Which is interesting because their label is not approving the release of this music.
Huh.
That's why you haven't seen it on Spotify.
And that's why there's a password.
And that's why there's a password, exactly. So that's why you haven't been seeing it on Spotify for you Brockhampton fans out there. These are getting put out on YouTube. That's how I found this week's release was on YouTube. And they supposedly are being taken off of YouTube fairly quickly when the record label finds out. So I would say keep your eyes on the Brockhampton YouTube channel.
Awesome.
For their new music.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So to go off of that, let's dive into our interview today that we have with CLE'PH, CLE'PH. Really excited stuff. So last week we did Brian Loy, who was a part of the Hawkshaws, and they give you kind of like an indie. What was his description? It was not Arctic Monkey. Arctic Monkey. But
Arctic Monkeys.
That's a tongue tie.
That's the coffee getting to you.
Yeah. But he said that they really like the Foo Fighters. They said that they played all the Foo Fighters whole album pretty much, and
their whole discography.
Yeah, but this week we have R&B, and immediately after I heard CLE'PH's music, I thought of the old school R&B artists, like early Usher and early like Neo and artists like that were given like the really like soul feel.
Yeah, no, Usher's great, man. Everyone knows Usher.
Yeah, everyone knows Usher. So CLE'PH, when you watch this, I'm excited to do the interview with you beforehand, and we'll get to it right now. Let's go.
Let's switch.
How's everybody doing? Got the interview with CLE'PH, CLE'PH. That is how you say that, correct? Awesome.
Yeah. Good.
Nice.
You got it right.
Yeah. So you're here with Connor and Kyler. Very excited to be doing this interview. We reached out to CLE'PH and asked if he would be willing to hop on and talk to us a little bit, and he was more than willing. So how's it going?
It's going good. Just taking it one day at a time. How y'all doing out there?
Doing good, man. Doing
Yeah,
good.
California's crazy right now. Where are you located again?
I'm located in New York.
Okay,
Very nice.
I
nice.
definitely gotta come out to Cali one day.
Yeah, man, come out to the West Coast.
Yeah, I do. I've been kind of meaning to go out there. I gotta check that place out.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
it's
man.
crazy right now though. But I mean, everywhere is crazy, right? Um,
Facts.
yeah, so let's dive into some questions we got for you. So Connor, if you want to go ahead and start.
Yeah. All right. So, CLE'PH, you're an R&B artist. Obviously, we listened to your album "Confidence of a Shy Guy." Loved it.
Yes.
It's great stuff.
Thank you.
Of course. So, what got you into music?
It was basically well, what really got me into music when I watched Drew Hill, the music group
Okay.
Drew Hill, and to be honest with you, I always was into music because I used to play the saxophone back in the day, and I
Awesome.
actually wanted to start my own jazz band.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, I used to play the alto sax, and then I tried to play the flute, and then I was trying to pick up the drums a little bit. I was gonna try to start my own jazz band, but it didn't work out when I got to high school. So I was just like, but I never told nobody I could sing.
Yeah.
So to my friend at the time, he put me on one of his songs. I kind of just freestyled something, and people was like, "Oh my God, you got a nice voice!" And he started writing hooks for me, and I would just sing them. And then all of a sudden, I just started writing my own stuff, and then that's it from there.
And here we are. The rest is history.
You should have told him you could sing a lot sooner, man. You sound good. I like the sound.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But actually, I actually didn't want to do music. I didn't really want to be an artist. I actually wanted to be an actor.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I really wanted to be an actor first before any of the music stuff became about.
Did you try and pursue that at all, or?
I was in a few plays, but nothing like big on a big scale. So I don't know if you noticed that when I do my videos, it's kind of like a mini movie type of thing, where it's kind of like a little bit of acting in it. That's kind of like me trying to relive that little childhood.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. You made it work, right? So you've been playing music for quite a while. It seems like you playing jazz or the saxophone when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I don't know if I know how to play now.
So do you just sing now? You don't play any instruments anymore?
No, I don't play any instruments. I've been meaning to, but it's kind of like it's the learning of it. It's kind of like something new, so you kind of get kind of discouraged a little bit. Like, I don't know if I want to try this again.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's just me, just vocals and writing. That's basically it.
So, if you don't mind, I'd love to hear a little bit about your story, like where you came from, and what city you grew up in, and things like that.
Okay. I was born in Queens, New York. I was raised in Brooklyn, New York the whole time.
Okay.
Went to high school in Queens. Funny. Got two beautiful little girls. Shout out to Lyric and Rock. Yeah, those are my babies right there. Been kind of like it took me some years to make the EP, Confessions of a Shy Guy. It went through so many titles. It had so many numbers, but I stuck at 7 because 7 is my lucky number because I was born.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So I decided just to keep it 7. And I guess I kind of figured, less is more. So
that's true.
There it is. Yeah. So that's basically it. I won an award for one of the
we saw that. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that award again was it's R&B Artist of the Year for
my song "Hey Miss Beautiful."
Oh, okay.
And it's actually on the EP. It's the second track. And what's funny about that is when I wrote that song, I wasn't sure if I was going to actually do music again following that, because I had bad management and I kind of had a bad show. So they kind of ganged up on me, made me feel like crap. So I'm kind of doubting. Yeah, I was kind of doubting myself for even doing that. I was like, oh, I'm about to just give this up. I came across the beat, worked out something with the producer. I'm still doubting myself as I'm writing the song, and then all of a sudden, I went to Florida, came back, and I was like, you know what? Let me just record it, and then we'll see what happens. I put like a snippet of it on Instagram, and then people was like, yo, this is hot. And then made my own video after that. Done. And then the producer wasn't with it. He wasn't with it at first with the whole video thing. 'Cause I wanted to do a video like right after I recorded. Yeah, he was like basically on some, oh, we should push the song for a whole year. And I was like, no, I don't want to push the song for a whole year. So I want to do a video.
Yeah.
And I did a video within I think 2 to 3 months of me recording the song. And it was kind of like the rebirth. Yeah, it was like kind of like the rebirth of CLE'PH, because I was coming out of being depressed and everything. And a year or two later, I won the award. So now my title is now an award-winning R&B artist.
Absolutely, man. Use that. Push that.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You kind of used, you said your producer wanted to push the song for a year. So it kind of seemed like you used that music video to push the song as well. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hearing. You think the music video helped get your song more popular and help you win R&B Artist of the Year?
Absolutely. Because the song was good, but then after a while, the song kind of loses its finessing after a while, because you can like a song like, oh, this song is great, but we as visual creatures, we need to see everything. Just like you can hear a woman, like she sounds attractive, but you need to see if she's attractive. That's the most important part. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah.
So once you see the song and be like, oh, this song is everything I imagined, and now I actually can see it as well as like it, you'll like the song more. I have people that like this. I have people that didn't really care too much for the song, but then when they saw the video, they was like, oh, it's so cute, because now they hear the song and relate to the video. Okay. So the videos do help the song a lot. It helps revive it. So yeah, absolutely.
You appeal to the two senses, hearing and seeing. Which, absolutely, and then it helps you appeal to the feeling sense. Then they feel the song even more so.
Exactly.
So Connor and I, one of the things that we like to do on this podcast is really to get exposure to people viewing our podcast to different things that they want to other. Like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing everybody hype up Drake and Future and everybody else that's big right now, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry. Like, I'm so tired of the big names. So we want to dive deeper into, kind of like the music industry and people who are upcoming trying to get through different, battles in the music industry. Do you have any experiences in the music industry that you would say, really impacted the way that you went about producing music or anything like that, or like anything that somebody wouldn't know unless they went through it pretty much?
I mean, for anybody that doesn't know the music industry, I would say it has two sides to it. And that's just about life. It has the good and it has the bad, So when it comes to that, you got to stay in the middle, but there will be times where the bad side will creep on to, you trying to be in that middle ground.
Yeah. Could you kind of give an example of one or the other?
Like, basically, I would say it's good when you're creating a project and people love it and you're getting all the great feedback and people want you in their show and people doing songs. But then it's also the other side of it where people aren't going to like you. Like, just simple. Oh, I think the song was whack. I don't like you. I think you're corny, blah, blah, blah. You can't do nothing about that. I mean, you can get mad, but that's, you can't fight the world, because I always feel like as an artist, you have to have in your mind that people aren't going to like you. That's just the reality of it. No matter how good and nice you are and people tell you that you're nice, you're going to be disliked by a few people. And that's just how life is.
Yeah.
So if you have that mindset as an artist that people aren't going to like you, you could be like the greatest entertainer of all time, but there will people that just won't like you. That's just deep down inside, you're somebody's enemy. That's just the bottom, and you don't even have to do nothing to them. So that's just, so I basically try to keep a middle ground when I'm trying to do my music. And I just feel like sometimes, the bad will creep in sometimes, but you got to keep remembering why you're doing this. And it's not just always about money or something like that. Like, it really feels good when people actually come up to me and they're like, hey, I really enjoyed you putting on that show. I listened to your project and it really helped me get through something. I had somebody come up to me just a few days ago and really was like, hey, I've been watching you. Sometimes they'll watch you and not even say anything to you for like a year. Won't even acknowledge you, but when you see them, they be like, hey, I've been watching you for a year. Yo, I really like what you're doing, and you came a long way. Like, keep up the good work. And you're like, okay. So they're watching, but then some people just won't say nothing, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But
that's cool. That's awesome that someone came up to you and told you that.
Yeah, for real.
So you talk about staying in that middle lane. Was that just something you learned on your own, or was that advice given to you from someone else in the industry? to tell you to keep in that middle lane, and you're gonna. There will be times where you sway to the good or the bad, but you always want to try and stay in that middle. Is that just something you learned, or is that something you were told?
Both. Anyway,
Both.
because I had to go through some bad experiences to actually become better. Because I know as an artist, I'm stubborn as hell. My team will tell you that. I'm very stubborn as hell. Like, I'm hard-headed. When it's the art, I believe in it. Like, I'm on some, this is what I want to do. We're doing it. I don't care. They could be like, no, I don't think so. So it comes with the territory of being an artist. But if you have like good people around you, as an artist, you're going to make mistakes. That's just how it works. No one goes through life doing everything right. And even when you think you're doing something right, it will always be wrong in other people's eyes. That's just the reality of it. That's how it works. So me, I had to learn that the hard way. And like I said, when I did Hey Miss Beautiful, it was kind of like a rebirth of me coming out of something that I had a bad performance. Management didn't want to bother with me at the time, and I doubted myself. I used that song and basically came up with something better, and then I basically reborn myself. That's what apostrophe came in, actually.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
I actually kind of because I looked at my name. I was like, I need to do something different from what I was doing before. So that little apostrophe, that's my name. So,
kind of rebranded yourself after that.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So people be looking at the name and be like, "How do you say this?" It's just CLE'PH. That's it. Just a fancy way of saying it. Yeah.
I like it. It's fancy. It is fancy. That apostrophe has a nice touch.
So what's next for you? Anything
next?
big planned? Anything like, I don't know, any like new albums or anything like that for you?
Yeah, what's in the works?
Well, I actually got a few collaborations in the works. A lot of people ask me to, join their projects. I'm actually almost finished writing my second EP.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost finished with that. I got the title and everything, but I'm not going to say it now. I got the title for it. I actually want to record my next project like outside of New York because I recorded the first project in New York. So I want to try something different. Okay. This next project actually going to have more features on it. Not too much, but it's going to have a little more feature. I got like an Afro beat I'm going to play around with. Y'all going to hear something different. Yeah. I got a Latin type of R&B-ish song on the project as well.
All right.
So, yeah, a little duet with another female Latin artist.
Ooh, nice.
So, yeah. Great. So
that's going to be nice.
And it's going to be a lot more visuals. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more visuals. Like, right now I'm currently shooting 2 music videos for the next 2 tracks for this EP, Confidence of a Shy Guy, called In the Mirror. And the final video will be Hit and Run.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. In the Mirror is a pretty popular
song. That's basically
it,
really. Hopefully I can go on tour. That's basically
Have you been on tour before or played a lot of live gigs, or how does that play a role into what you?
I would have never been on tour. Believe it or not, I've never been on tour. It's like one of my ultimate goals as an artist to go on tour, to open up for somebody. And now since I have like a good body of work and the videos I'm starting to drop and people are starting to see it, I'm hoping that it will happen. But I'm going to be patient and still push for that. But I would love to go on tour with somebody, would just love it. So I won't have to do the 9-to-5 thing. I would love that.
I feel that.
So getting into that, what do you do in like your spare time when you're not doing music? What's CLE'PH do behind the scenes?
I like that. I mainly like to just like do normal, simple stuff. Like either play video games, ride my bike, hang out with some other artists and just like chill, whatever. Yeah. Go to the movies, like regular stuff. Nothing over the top. Just regular stuff. Nothing crazy.
Okay,
regular stuff.
Just real quick, could you touch on Confidence of the Shy Guy? What inspiration drove that album?
Well, actually, I owe it to a director by the name of Super Dave. He's actually an artist himself. He actually gave me the title because I had another title for it, and we used to have this little cipher that we used to do at his apartment. Mm-hmm. And basically, we would all just freestyle, or we would just perform our stuff that's never been released, or whatever the case may be. And he was like, I noticed that when I see you performing, like I'm very when it comes to women, like I'm very shy in a way because I don't want to say that stupid.
I feel that.
So, but when I'm performing, it's kind of like I'm a different person. kind of like how Michael Jackson was. Michael Jackson was that shy kid, but
Yeah.
you could never know that when he was on stage, he was a completely different person.
Yeah.
So then he was just like, hey, why don't you just call your project like Confidence of a Shy Guy? Because it's like you're confident when you're doing your music, but it's kind of like a double conundrum. Like kind of you're confident but you're shy at the same time. So I went with it. People liked it.
Yeah,
So
we were talking about the title before the interview. We're like, dude, Confidence of a Shy Guy is a sick album name.
It really gets you like
it is.
thinking
Thank
about
you.
it a little bit. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
It works.
Yeah. CLE'PH, is there any questions you have for us? If so, I think we have gone through most of our questions.
I would just want to know is like, how's the weather out there, basically?
It's not that windy, I can tell you that.
so Connor,
Yeah, it's windy out here. It's windy, but it's different because it was so hot and then it rained twice.
yeah.
So now it's windy. So it
Yeah.
is what it is. But
So
I
Connor's
definitely
from
need to come out there.
yeah, Connor's from Monterey. That's how we met because we went to school together in Monterey, and then I'm in San Jose.
Right.
And Monterey and San Jose are two completely different weather patterns. Like it can be
Wow,
95 here, and then Monterey is only like 45 minutes away, and it'll be 60 degrees and cloudy, and so it really just depends.
What?
But yeah, if you've never been out here, man, you got to check it out.
Hopefully you get on tour out here.
I would love to come out there because it's crazy. Is a lot of my music actually been played out there in Cali. So I've been trying to work out something where I can actually like plug my music more to do like live performances out there in Cali. Like would love to go to Cali. Love that. It's on my list. It's on my list.
Perfect.
I'll be out there.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you tuning in with us, man. We really appreciate you being willing to hop on. I mean, like I said, just a little quick, easy interview, nice and relaxed, and just want to get to know you a little bit better. And we're stoked to see what you have in the future.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that next
Appreciate
EP.
Yes,
All right.
thank y'all for having me on. I really appreciate that for hitting me up and
Not
enjoy
a problem,
the
man.
interviews.
Yeah, definitely. Well, enjoy the weather out there.
Yeah, thank you very much,
I
CLE'PH.
would definitely
Sounds
enjoy
good.
the
Have
weather
a good
for me
one.
out there too.
Yeah.
You too, man. Take care.
So that was our interview with CLE'PH, CLE''PH. Really cool guy.
That was fun. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Had a lot to talk about. We definitely could have went longer. I would have loved to interview him for 30, 40 minutes, but for the sake of the podcast, got to keep it short, keep the time crunch so that we can get everything we want to talk about in. But again, CLE'PH, thank you so much. We really hope your music career blows up and you get everything that you're hoping for and running for. And awesome, man.
To all of our listeners, you can check him out on Spotify. Again, his name is CLE'PH, CLE''PH.
Yeah.
His first EP is out on Spotify right now called Confidence of a Shy Guy.
Yep.
And the second EP is coming soon. He says we don't know the name of it. He wanted to keep it
under wraps.
Yeah, I want to keep it under wraps, which we totally understand. We're really excited for the next thing he puts out.
Be a really good thing. So, Connor, do you want to go ahead and jump on what we have next for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. So the last thing we spoke about before the interview happened was Brockhampton's record label pulling their brand new songs off of YouTube because the record label was not approving the music releases. And going off of that, and it's a question on everybody's mind, is how record labels profit off of these young black artists in the music industry, and and racism in the music industry as a whole. Should definitely be addressed, especially now.
I think it's an aspect that not a lot of people think about because they think if you sing well and you go viral, that's how it is, and that's how it should be.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, it's not that way. There's a lot of behind the scenes. Nonetheless, music is business.
Absolutely.
And, it is about music. It is about songs. It is about the message. But unfortunately, that's not how it is ever.
It's not how it is now. I mean, we see these artists who are, these great artists, these beautiful singers, beautiful musicians, and, they are making money. Clearly, a lot of these guys are very wealthy, but even more so is the record label, and especially for new artists. Like the common deal for a record deal would be they lose the rights to their original song.
Okay.
The artists lose their rights. The record label owns that now, and then they make 18 cents. The artist makes 18 cents off of the dollar, and then the record label reaps in the rest.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah, that is, that's really not that much, It's your music that you're creating. The only thing they do is put it out, which is a big deal, obviously, but it does seem unfair and unjust.
So dive a little deeper into that. What's the takeaway message from?
Well, I mean, it's such a huge topic in such a big industry. It's hard to touch on every single thing, but this Rolling Stone article that just came out recently is really talking about it. And, the name of the article is How Racism shapes the music industry. And it has a lot of information. It really does. And so one of the big things it brought up to me, or it brought to my attention that I really didn't realize, is that music charts are in a sense segregated.
I did not know that either.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you go to a Billboard Top 100 R&B chart, and all of those artists will be black. It's the same with hip hop. But then you go to country and rock, and all of them are white. All of the
Except
artists.
Darius Rucker.
Yeah, but I don't think Darius Rucker's on the top of the Billboard right now.
Oh.
He might be. I don't know. But yeah, of course, except for Darius Rucker. And there's obviously artists in each genre, and that's the problem, is that some of these artists aren't being put at the top. One of the biggest controversies, actually, that it talks about in this article would be Lil Nas. You remember that song, Country Road or Old Town Road?
Yeah.
That went huge?
Yeah.
So that song, when it was released, hit the top 100 charts on multiple things, on multiple different charts. It hit the cross-genre chart, the country chart, and then the R&B/hip-hop chart. But that song was booted off of the top 100 country chart, very quietly, very subtly. They just booted him off of it, and that kind of led to a little bit of controversy. Like, why did they boot it off? It's because they said it wasn't country. But
so that's tough, because that song actually had a lot of remixes, I feel like.
It did have a lot of remixes, but the original with him, Billy Ray Cyrus, one, the song is kind of weird because it does hit all of these different genres. But the reason is, why was it kicked off of country? And some people believe it's because he wasn't white.
Yeah.
But going off of that, there are obviously white performers that hit the top charts in R&B and hip hop, such as G-Eazy and Post Malone, and then Adele for R&B.
Okay.
And it brings up those artists in this article, which I highly suggest you guys read. It's on Rolling Stone on their website.
And our real focus with bringing this up is really just to get people to understand, not everything is sunshine and rainbows in the music industry. It's business, it's money, it's time, and there are a lot of different categories that play a role in the music industry as a whole. And really just our focus is to give everybody a perspective on that, and so for upcoming artists that are watching this, we really want you guys, which I'm sure you guys already know, we don't even have to tell you, but we really want you guys to really think about that, and don't be upset if you don't make it to the top right away, because everything takes time. As CLE'PH discussed, you have the good and the bad, and
absolutely,
you got to stay in the middle and
ride that middle line as long as you can.
But there's a lot of aspects to it, and Rolling Stones is cool. I like Rolling Stones.
They put out great stuff. That's magazine is very popular.
Yeah.
But in this article, it also talks about ways that we can reach the goal of diversifying the music industry, and it's not just for artists. The executives at these record labels are predominantly white, and so it listed two ways that we could work towards a better diversified music industry or record label. One would be the transparency of pay wages across the board, across the record label board and executives in the record label, because it touches on how the music industry wages work and how
do they do that?
What do you mean?
Like what is the difference between?
So the example they brought up would be like, say, working at Toyota. There are obvious positions or very distinguished positions as you move up through the company, and each position has like a set wage that you make, and everybody knows that.
Okay.
But the record label is different. If you have a certain artist, you make more or less, and not every person that works the record label knows what that other person is making. So it's just to create transparency, so it's more of a level playing field for these employees that work at the record label who want to work their way up. So they know what they should be earning.
Yeah.
And another point they brought up to better diversify, and I think this is a really good one, would be an outside entity to monitor the record label's diversification, basically. So they would have no affiliation to the artists and no affiliation to the record label. In a sense, they kind of played it as a government entity that monitors this to make sure that Black people are being hired at these record labels and not just white people. Because they brought up a point, and there was a lot of quotes in here, but everyone stayed anonymous. But people brought up the fact that you're a rap artist and you go in for a record label meeting and everyone at the table are these white executives.
Yeah.
Why is that? And so it's it's a really good article. It's a big read. You know, it's fairly long, but it's definitely worth the read. And, you know,
It's really interesting, especially, you know, going through the times that we are right now, to have all the controversial, you know, topics and protests and everything going on, and to understand that there is so much more behind the scenes happening, where there are opinionated leads in all these projects that really get to pick and choose who does what, and which is really unfortunate. And so just to jump back on the equality aspect of it, you know, is I believe that it really needs to find a middle ground so that everybody's making the same wages and everybody's getting the same opportunities. And unfortunately, it's not that way. And so if anybody has any ideas or, you know, knows anything, feel free to reach out to us, give us some context so that we can relay the message, so everybody's getting the same positive information and,
absolutely,
you know, progressing their careers.
And with this revolution, man, like, hopefully this stuff will change, you know,
Yeah,
hopefully,
definitely.
you know, in the next year or so, we'll start to see some changes, because like this won't happen overnight, but it's definitely something that we should be working towards.
Definitely.
And we're starting with all this that is going on right now.
Yeah. So because yesterday was National Environmental Day,
Love that.
which I didn't know. I actually saw somebody post about it, and I was like, shoot, let's do it.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. So we're going to go ahead and dive into some environmental issues today.
There's a lot of issues.
Today is June 6th. National Environmental Day was June 5th. And one of the big things that actually just happened was Russia had an oil tank that leaked.
I hate that.
Yeah, and it I hate it too. Yeah, everybody does.
I'm sure the fish do too.
So what's actually really interesting about this is, I'm sure you guys have heard about it, but as always, you know, we want to dive down into the deeper facts so that everybody understands the story a little bit better. There were 21,000 tons of oil that got released. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. So they say 6,000 tons of the oil made it onto hard surface, and then 15,000 tons of oil made it into the ocean, and the Arctic Ocean to be exact. It was a northern part of Russia called Norilsk.
It's perfect pronunciation, Kyler.
Norilsk, Russia. And after the oil got spilled, it said it took up about 135 square miles, which is insane. Like that's
a lot of miles.
Yeah, and that's square miles, right? So what is that? That's like 10 by 12 plus, so 12.5. So that's like a lot of miles.
That's that quick math.
That's like 10 miles by 12 and a half miles, or 13.5 miles, I guess is what it would be. But that's crazy. But they were able to pump some out.
Okay.
Russia declared a state of emergency.
Well, as they should have.
Yeah, because it was pretty crazy. And what I actually thought was really interesting is that it turned the water red. And the reason that it turned to red is because Russia has this thing that they do where they dye oil for business-related use red, and all the other oil is just natural color, black or brown.
Huh.
And
I never knew that.
I didn't know that, but yeah. So it turned the whole ocean red, or where it spilled red, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it can cost up to $85 million to clean it all up.
Jeez, that's a lot of cheddar.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Is there any news on what they are doing to clean it up?
They're just trying to pump it out, really, right now. It said that the tank was sitting on permafrost, and if you're unfamiliar with permafrost, it's basically when the ground is so cold that it's solid. It's like basically frozen over, I believe, is my understanding of permafrost.
So like the ground is basically ice cold.
Yeah,
And you
and
can't dig
it's
through
just like permanently frosted, and that's where the permafrost aspect comes from. I believe, at least. Fact check me,
It
please.
would make sense.
So as of right now, they've cleaned about 53,000 cubic feet of the soil and pumped 130 tons out of the water, which is cool.
But how many? There's 13,000 tons in the water, you said?
No, 15,000 tons. They've only cleared 130 tons.
They have a
And there's
long ways to go.
A long way to go, yep. But what's really cool is, as I was doing my research on this, I was looking at the National Science Foundation research page to see if they've came up with anything new. And there was a group that got funded by the National Science Foundation that came out with a sponge, which doesn't sound that thrilling because
it sounds like SpongeBob.
yeah, it's a sponge. But what's cool about the sponge is it selectively absorbs oil and not water. So it's retentive to water, but it holds the oil. And then what's cool about the sponge is it's not a one-time use. You can actually take the sponge and get rid of the oil in a remote location away from wherever it happened, or you can reuse it and filter it, I imagine, and clean it up and stuff like that. But the size of this is not really relevant. What's relevant about this is it can take up 30 times its size in oil.
Wow.
So
That's pretty big.
yeah, so that's pretty cool. And the other aspect of it is that it's magnetic, so it can be controlled magnetically to move it around, which is really awesome. So you don't have to like be in the water while you do it.
Yeah, that's nice. That sounds like a really, really, really upgraded ShamWow.
Yeah, it's a very cool ShamWow, actually. But as I said, because yesterday was National Environment Day, wanted to go ahead and talk about this, talk about some environmental issues and what's going on environmentally and how we can fix those things. So before, all they had was a sponge that absorbed everything pretty much, and it was a one-time use. You couldn't really drain it and then reuse it. It was pretty much, that was it. So the fact that this is reusable is awesome.
It's a huge,
And the fact that it takes up 30 times its size in oil is also awesome.
yeah, it's a big step.
And that's completely oil because, again, it's
It doesn't take up water,
yeah,
right?
it retains water, or
Retains
water
oil.
retains oil, gets rid of water, or doesn't allow the water to get absorbed. Which
That's
is
a
awesome.
very high-tech sponge.
Yeah, very high tech. ShamWow.
ShamWow.
And so to shed some light on how oil affects everything, when oil is in the water, and for those who don't know, there are two types of oil. There's light oil and heavy oil. To give an idea, gasoline, diesel, like car fuels and things like that, those are considered light.
Okay.
And heavy oils would be considered like jet fuel, things that are a lot more dense.
Okay.
And I believe this was a type of light oil that got leaked, and so everything's on the surface.
Okay,
is
that's what I was
means.
going to ask. So yeah, like, because heavy oil, I'm assuming, would
Would
be more
sink.
dense than water, and
Yep.
it would sink.
And it would
correct?
sink. Yeah,
That'd be harder to clean up.
but the light oil sits on the surface, and you can absorb it with this new fancy ShamWow sponge. And so how this plays a role in marine life, right? Because everybody loves the otters.
I love the otters.
Yeah,
Nothing hotter
I've
than
done
an
some
otter.
nothing hotter than an otter. Connor and I are otters ourselves.
Shout out CSUMB.
And so what it does is it'll coat these otters with oil, and it basically debilitates their ability to use their like fur and things like that to retain heat, and it doesn't make them waterproof. So the fur of otter allows them to be water retentive, and doesn't allow them to like get soaked, basically.
Okay, so it kind of keeps their skin dry, which keeps them warm.
Yes, exactly. And they also have fur and things like that to keep them warm as well. But
course.
so that's really unfortunate. The other thing is birds will swallow the oil as they're searching for fish and things like that, and that's poisonous and it kills them. So this is really important, you
Sounds
know.
like a very negative effect on the environment.
Yeah.
It has.
So oil is really bad for the environment when it's in it, and it's a lot more detrimental than people realize. You know, you hear of an oil spill, they're like, shoot, an oil spill, right?
Yep,
And that's like to the
apologize.
common people.
Yeah.
But there's so much deeper effect, I guess.
Yeah.
A deeper effect than just an oil spill. Oil spill affects a lot of wildlife, a lot of ocean life when it gets into it.
And it's not like when you clean it up, everything's, good right after
Yeah.
that. Like it has those long-term effects.
Exactly.
Correct? Yeah.
Yep, has a long-term effect. One of the long-term effects actually is it can be carcinogenic. Basically means that it creates cancers,
Oof.
and it's toxic, it's poisonous, and all that stuff. But this is something I actually wanted to dive a little bit deeper into because I was thinking about, how can we discuss this a little further and what questions can we ask? And one of the questions that came to my mind was cancer, right? How do you get rid of it? How does it start? How does it move? And a lot of people don't know this. There are actually a lot of methods for getting rid of cancer, but the ones that we focus on are radiation therapy and chemotherapy.
And you work for a company that helps cure cancer, correct? That's what you guys work towards?
So we produce cancer treatments.
Uh-huh.
We basically have clients that patent certain types of materials and scientific assays and products that we use to make cancer treatments that then get dispatched out to hospitals and clinics to then get re-injected to patients. And it's really cool. It's really phenomenal stuff.
So you sound like the right type of guy to be talking about stuff like this.
Yeah, I like the topic. Working in the field is it's made me a lot more curious about all these different things and how they work. And so to give you a little bit of background, I'm going to go through all the different types of cancer treatments. So we have surgery, of course, cut it out, right? Chemotherapy, which basically you're injecting chemicals into the body, which are supposed to kill all the cells. But the problem with chemotherapy is that it kills all cells. It doesn't just kill the cancer cells, which is why people get really sick and fatigued. Same thing with radiation therapy. Radiation therapy works with shooting high-powered X-rays or protons inside the body, or you can even put devices inside the body that shoot it
Within the body.
Within the body, yeah.
Eesh.
Is interesting. You can have bone marrow transplants, which bone marrow is really important because bone marrow is responsible for creating blood stem cells. Stem cells are a type of human cell that can turn into multiple types of cells. And blood stem cells can be turned into other types of blood cells that are basically like white blood cells and things like that. And so there's a lot of different responsibilities of bone marrow.
I actually am I'm on the list to be a bone marrow donor.
A bone marrow donor. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Keep it up, man.
Yeah.
That's you're changing the world one little bit at a time. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, just not yet.
They have immunotherapy. They have hormone therapy, targeted drug therapy, which is what my career focuses on. Cryoablation, and for those who don't know, cryoablation is basically you freeze the cells until they die.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And so let's say you have a type of skin cancer, you would freeze that area of cancer until all the cells are dead, and then remove it and repatch it with healthy cells or skin cells. You have radio frequency ablation, which is the opposite of cryoablation, which heats them and they die.
My lord.
Yeah, so there's a lot of aspects to this, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. I only knew of the two, which you said radiation and chemotherapy. Those are really the only two I'm familiar with.
Yeah, but there are a lot of different aspects. And like I said, we focus on targeted drug therapy at my facility. And it's really cool. The science behind it is awesome. And the science behind what we do, I can't get into the specifics because we do have clients and all that stuff. But I can say that we basically make a product that gets re-injected into patients, and it's supposed to help them fight these cancers within. Because one of the problems with cancer is that the body doesn't kill it on its own, right? And so we make products that basically get re-injected and help the body fight these cancers on its own. And so what happens is they have white blood cells, and the white blood cells don't recognize the cancer cells. And so we make our product so that they do recognize the cancer cells. And so when they get re-injected, it's actually a pretty high effective rate. I think it's like upper 90%.
Really?
Yeah, upper 90% of.
It's really interesting. You guys are teaching the body to fight cancer.
Yeah, it's something like that.
That's what it sounds like.
And to give you more background, the definition of cancer is a disease caused by an uncontrolled division of abnormal cells in part of the body. And so that just kind of tells you, it's your body continuously replicating these cells and not being able to identify them and get rid of them. It's really cool stuff, not cancer, but the cancer therapies and
the progress towards curing it.
Yeah, the process towards curing it. And hopefully one day we cure it 100%, and that would be really awesome.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, so one journal I came across was published in the Journal of Cell Science in 2019. The journal is called Cancer Cells and Tumor Core Exhibit Spatially Coordinated Migration Patterns.
That's a mouthful.
Yep. And what this article talks about, I just kind of skimmed through the abstract, but I'm sure deeper in the article it gets into how cancers migrate. So for those that don't know, you can have a cancer or a cancerous tumor in the body. A little piece breaks off, and those cells are now floating through the bloodstream, and then they latch on to another part of the body and start to replicate at a different location. And that's how actually a lot of lung cancers begin, I believe, because lung cancer, I don't think, fact check me again, I don't think that lung cancer starts on its own. I think what happens is it starts somewhere else in the body, breaks off, and gets moved through the blood. And as your blood is circulating, it has to go through the lungs to get oxygenated.
Yep.
And then those cancer cells latch on into the lungs, and that's how lung cancer begins.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's how cancer spread.
Yeah, that's how cancer spreads. It's through the blood. And so it's a lot more detrimental than just cancer.
Yeah.
But just wanted to shed some light on that for you guys. That was pretty much all I had. And that goes back to give a recap, oil spilled into the ocean.
Yep.
Russia, state of emergency. They just came out with a new sponge to get all these oils out. Why is that important? Because the sponge will allow oil to get out of the water quicker, obviously, which is important. And then if that oil is in the water too long, it'll start to affect marine life and produce cancerous materials or poisonous materials that affect marine life, but that goes for the same as humans. So in a lot of medical work and preclinical work, they do a lot of rat testing in smaller mammals because the bodies, so they call them, what do they call them?
I don't know.
I can't think. This is really bad because this is actually a very large part of science. It's basically organisms that represent all mammals because all mammal cell structure is pretty similar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So if it works on a rat, the odds of it working on otter probably pretty high. The odds of it working on a chimpanzee is pretty high, and if it works on a chimpanzee, then it should work on us because us and chimpanzees are very related.
Yes, similar cells, similar framework, and all that
DNA
stuff.
and everything. Yep.
Oh.
So pretty cool stuff. But I think that's all we have for you guys. Just wanted to shed some light on that. And again, CLE'PH, thanks again.
Yes.
Really great interview.
Shout out
Awesome
CLE'PH.
stuff, man. Really cool guy. Don't forget to check out the albums. What is it again? Run the Jewel. And
yes, Run the Jewels album RTJ4.
Yep.
And then we have Terrance Martin with Pig's Feet is the single.
Yep.
And then Brockhampton with Peggy or JPEG Mafia, however you want to pronounce it.
Yep.
And their single is called Chain On / Hold Me.
Yep. Awesome. And if you're in the Santa Cruz area, don't forget to check out Steeped Coffee. This is not a paid advertisement.
It's not.
This is just us enjoying some coffee.
Yeah.
And stay tuned for episode 8 next week, guys. Hang in there. Let's go.
Hope you guys learned some stuff from this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Look at all these slave masters posing on your dollar. Get it?
Look at all these slave masters posing on